Alright, we're going on a trip to Logan, to Yellowstone, to Mount Rushmore. We're going to have a passenger list of 7 people, and we're going in the end of July. It's going to be a hot one. This passenger list includes 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds. It's going to be a wild ride. If you've ever had interest in visiting these places, I'll give you the tips, the tricks, and hopefully a little bit of things to look for and avoid. Let's see the sights and the sounds and see what we find on our journey. Join me. Let's take the trip. Alright, we're going to begin our journey here in Logan. We're going to travel along the main street here, traveling through. Logan's a good town. It's a town that's home to the college, Utah State. Now kind of get more to the sights. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here. We're heading out, passing Richmond, which again not too big. There's not much there, but there's a few things. We got Big J Burgers, which will come in play later as we continue traveling on. As we travel up, a few things. I don't know if you can hike that thing, but that does seem like it would be kind of interesting. Sticks out. Usually we're in a valley here between the two mountains, and so it's kind of makes for a nice, pretty view out there in the wilderness. Is this the old sugar factory? There used to be a lot of sugar factories around Cache Valley area, and all of them pretty much closed up. They're all beet sugar places. And what we see here is an abandoned one, and it kind of sticks out to us. At least sticks out to me every time I drive out there. Is this abandoned sugar beet factory, and I'm sure maybe the proper people they'll want to go explore that. I don't think there's much left of it though, to be honest, and probably pretty dangerous. I think it's looks pretty beat up, as you can see there. But it always sticks out as you kind of drive by through here. And Preston's really known for Napoleon Dynamite. This is where they shot the show, and right there you'll find some interesting sights. We have the school right here. This is where they shoot some of those shots. This isn't, of course, a behind-the-scenes tour here, but this will kind of get some of the ideas of some of the places that are there. One of the other things that oftentimes we've stopped by is Big J's. Now, it's not the one from the movie, but this is the newer one. I haven't been to the old one since they closed it, but years ago I went to there. But this is the new one, so if you want to stop by there, I recommend it. It's quite nice, quite good. It's a good place to go. If you want to just keep going on this main street, and you might notice a few things from the movie there. That takes us up through here. There's going to be a split. We're going to stay on this 89 split. We're going back out into the fields. Kind of drop down. It's just these nice views. You get these nice views of the landscape as you're kind of traveling through. I really liked this piece. It shows some interesting bits. One of the things that I like about a trip like this is really the sights and the sounds. You want to look at what the landscape looks like and be able to kind of soak that in. Now, I wouldn't want to stay in some of these places, I don't walk around, but just the view and the thinking behind it, like, wonder who's out there, who's doing, what are they doing, what are they up to. You get to these kind of small areas here, and you can kind of get a sense of just the views that you can see along the way. This is really quite nice. Alright, so when you get up here, keep going up here, you're going to get onto the I-15, which is going to be the main drive. It should be a pretty easy exchange. Just get right on You can kind of see it here from the road. Just get straight on there, be right ready to go. And that'll put you here, and let's take a look at the exchange. So you'll be able to get right there, and it's going to be out here. Nice views. Okay, and then you're going to keep going onto this, and you go through Pocatello. Well, there's a lot of services in Pocatello. There's also a university here, town. And there's quite a few things you can stop by if you need to. We're going to continue through our journey here, up through that. We won't quite stop there on our particular trip. We're going to continue on. There's also Blackfoot here that you can stop through, and we're gonna stop at Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls is quite a nice place. There's quite a few services here. Just off the highway here. We'll get right there. There we go. We'll drop down here. So if you come off this highway here, let's just drive off that. You come up here. This will give you quite a few services. They had some gas stations, so this will be a good time to fuel up by this point in your journey. Just top up, because there's a long stretch of road that that doesn't have any fuel stops or anything. So you want to get filled up. Make sure you have a full tank or so coming out of Idaho Falls. And this is also a good time to maybe pick up a little bit of lunch and see if that top both the fuel tank and the inner tank of yourself. So good time to make a pit. What I did is we just hit the Phillips here, and then popped over to the Wendy's because it was close, just across the street. There's a home diner that I would have liked to try, but my crowd did not go for it. You could try this Cadillac's, I think. Oh, Cedric's. There we go. Cedric's family. They do have quite a few different interesting options. It looks like spaghetti there. It's getting blocked by the sign, but that would have been an interesting place to go. We chose the one across the street. I think it's because the people in my travel group that seemed to fit their interests a little more. The falls here. There's the Idaho Falls that they're actually named the city after. It's right here. You can take a little walk through that. You can head down through here, and you can definitely go to the famous Driftwood, which is just down the way here. We'll pop by. You'll notice this it's now La Quinta, but it used to be a red line from the movie. If you go to the Story Channel, it might post up eventually the Driftwood movie that kind of goes over this whole area right here. And this is where Driftwood sign. It looks like they've updated since the movie, but there you go. It's right there, still there. You can maybe borrow the bikes and ride around the park here. That's kind of right there. It's really nice, quite a nice area. Definitely recommend that. Alright, let's continue on with our journey and head towards West Yellowstone. We're actually going to want to split here and head off this way. So after Idaho Falls, we'll split up and go through Rexburg and Rigby there. Rigby, of course, is pretty famous. Yeah, Rigby, of course, is pretty famous for some particular invention that we all seem to use. It's the television. Alright, so heading through there, there's Rexburg. Rexburg's home to a university, and so it's got quite a few things, quite a few amenities. I think the main thing for me that reminds me of Rexburg as well is they once built a dam over here, the Teton Dam right here. You can still see the remnants here on Google. Well, that dam, they built it, but it had some faults, kind of messed up. They didn't realize there was a lot of cavities here, and so when they built the earthen dam here, they built it and they started to fill it, and it filled up in this area, but then it eventually collapsed pretty soon. You can still see the old spillway. This whole thing collapsed, and then it was pretty bad. It swamped out all the towns all through here, and all even flooded out Rexburg, so it flooded all the towns along the way. Pretty bad thing back in the 70s. But if you're interested in that type of stuff, there's definitely the old sites there. You can definitely see, you can go see what's left of it. Alright, this is kind of where I think it's interesting. We're coming close to what they call Island Park, and there's a lot of scenic things through here. Let's take a look. As you're kind of going through this, so it gets into where it becomes more like a forest, and you're driving through the forest, and they have different areas that they grow. They say that this one's in 1980, this is when they replanted this area, so it's kind of replanted forest, but they have different areas of it. Very pretty though. There's lots of kind of the trees through here. Do you remember that long car ride that I said from Idaho Falls? Yeah, eventually, if you may need to make a pit stop, is all I'm saying. You may need to make a pit stop. And through here, it gets to be difficult because a lot of places are closed, even in July. You'll go, okay, well, where can we stop? Well, let's see if we can hunt down the place that we went. They didn't really have public restrooms, but we got to make it happen, so let's go find it. Most of the places around here were closed even at the time, and that was, again, July, so which is kind of odd. But we did stop by this Henry Fork Anglers, and yeah, you can sneak in there, use the restroom if you need to. Just saying. If you keep just traveling on that 20, eventually you'll swing around and hit into West Yellowstone there. So this is where we're going to stop. We stopped for the night. It's right there, puts you right where you want to be for Yellowstone. Right, this for the west entrance. This is exactly where you're going to want to be. Now it's going to be there's a lot of hotels, so you can generally find a place to stay. I think we booked only like maybe a month before, so you can find places. And we have a tricky group. We can't just fit in a regular room. Got to find the right room, and always looking for breakfast. If you're if you're like me, you're gonna want to have the breakfast. That can be a big deal. If people get hungry in your group and you've got a large group, find a place that gives the free breakfast. Look for that Continental. And some of these places haven't, some of them don't. So just something to look for. The place that we kind of stayed in here, Kelly's West Inn, not bad. And you can notice there, like I said, free breakfast. So not too bad. Definitely the prices now are not the prices that are in July. I can tell you in July, things are going to get a lot more pricey. But, again, you're looking for the thing where you want. What's nice kind of about the inn here, don't put you down here. Oh, put you right in the room. Well, it kind of gives a rustic feel in the rooms. Yeah, a little bit dated with the popcorn ceiling, but we found it to be pretty nice. I mean, the floors are nice, the rooms are nice. It really worked out. Okay, now we were getting through. We loaded, unloaded there. Got to find dinner. They didn't really want to go McDonald's after going to Wendy's, and I don't blame you. There's some other places, so let's take a look. One of the things is trying to catch this place before it closed, so this Discovery Center. However, we got there with only about 15 minutes to spare, and it is quite expensive, so it's going to be $10-15 a person, so get prepared for it. That's going to be a hundo to go in there. And for 15 minutes, that just wasn't worth it. We opted out of that. If you have a group that it's a little bit unique, you got a bunch of young kids and things. Sometimes the sit-down places are going to be a little bit hard, and there's a lot of places that are quite expensive, being a tourist town. So I'm going to take you to a place. We went to a place, I should say, that was a little bit more familiar. Let's go see what it was. Now we headed up here. We just walked. It was good to get out and kind of walk around. So we walked over here, just walked down the street. along the way, there's a bunch of different gift shops. There's things on the streets. It's pretty lively. There's a lot of people through the town. A lot of things you can look at and see. Let's see what time of the season they show here. They're showing winter time. But in the summertime, this will be pretty busy, and all these shops will be open. And you can see this. They'll have just racks. Even in the wintertime, it looks like they have the racks of different T-shirts and souvenirs you can get. And most of them aren't not terrible. I don't know how good of shirts they are, but they are, prices are good, and those are pretty reasonable on the prices there. So you can definitely find souvenirs. We headed up here. There's definitely some different restaurants through here that get pretty busy. Some of them are I'm sure pretty nice. There's some different areas. Some of the ones that I think the Beartooth is one that they recommend, some of the locals recommend, so that's not bad. They do have this kind of outdoor mall area, which is kind of interesting. We just kind of walked by that, and we kept going. I took them up to this gas station here, right to the subway. Isn't that interesting? And, it's just kind of a gas station subway, so it's just there, not a lot of space. We ate it right at that table, if you can barely make that out, right in here. And, but hey, you get a sub, it's not bad. When you're traveling, you want to get some vegetables. It's gonna be good. After our meal, we try to stop through, trying to catch as much as you can. We try to stop by this museum, Yellowstone Museum, thinking that'd be a good place. Again, found not free, and again, think probably $15 a person or so, so 15 to 20 probably, and so it's not particularly cheap. Now we could take a look inside with this guy, maybe. Nope, not even he can get in there. Okay, now this IMAX theater caught our eye, and we thought, maybe we'll catch that, and we'll try to catch that on day 2 here. But this was a no-go. Bailed on it, went back to the hotel. The next day, though, we decided to catch that Yellowstone at the theater. Now, it has a few different showings. You show modern films as well, but they also show a big screening of Yellowstone, the movie, showing the park and everything in it. I definitely recommend it if you're only going to go in the park for a little bit. This is not bad. You get in here to this theater. Now, it didn't open right away, so if you're waiting for the theater to open, which you're going to likely, if you want to catch in the morning, which you want to catch in the morning so you can get in the park. We were trying to head into the park. What we did is we went into the visitor center, and that is free. There's some information in there. But more importantly is you can get your pass. We had 5th graders, and 5th graders can get into the park for free. But we definitely got some information there. Headed to the theater, watched the show, and then they have some huckleberry ice cream. Huckleberry is kind of the thing here. They have huckleberry in just about everything. Huckleberry blueberry sauce, huckleberry pancakes, huckleberry syrup, huckleberry hot sauce, and huckleberry ice cream. And so if you want that ice cream, this is the place. Pick up a cone, not bad, and you get to fill your own cone. So, it's a challenge. You try to make it as big as you can. Now, this kind of puts you later in the day. So if you have multiple days, you may want to catch this at a different point. Because traffic will back up. There's a lot of people that go to Yellowstone. It has millions of visitors a year, and this is no exception. It was definitely busy. By the time we got out and just pulled into here, you want to get onto this main road here. It says West Yellowstone Avenue. You're going to pull into that. But by the time you hit about here, and even you can see a bit of traffic there, it's going to start backing up. You're not going to make it too far before you hit this gate. And it's going to be long, so you make sure to take a break in here. Take that break. Then it will get long, and you're going to get into this pile. And that pile extends way back. If you already have pass, you already have the pass thing that you got from that visitor center, you can get into one of the quicker lines, and I believe they're over on this side, and they'll have some signs, but you can't really switch lanes very easily in here unless somebody lets you. So you want to get in that lane. Some of the other ones you have to buy the tickets here, but if you already have the pass, you can kind of drive through, and I think you end up kind of getting into this far lane here. Kind of slow roads, so it takes a while. It's not high, not going to be high speeds here. But then again, you're kind of there to see the park. There will be a bit of traffic because it's definitely busy. But it gets through here. You're going to keep winding your way down. Now you're kind of switching over to different roads there, you can see. But it's really all the same. Just kind of keep hanging in there. Keep driving through. A lot of sites. There's a lot of places where you can stop off and do other things. There's different things you can look at, different fire holes. A lot of great things there. But if you're going to Old Faithful, just keep going. Keep going through. Now you're going to get through a bunch of different geysers. There's going to be, this was kind of interesting as you're driving through here. It kind of opens up, and then there's just a bunch of things you can start seeing. You can start seeing these geysers off to the side, and that's pretty cool. You can see all that kind of going on. That's not Old Faithful, so you don't want to stop through here unless you want to see some of these. You can get out and see some of those and walk around, but there is some paths there. But you keep going, get past some of that, get past those, and you're going to find yourself down to Old Faithful. Now we're going to hit some of these pools, but we're going to do that after we get parked up in here. So you're going to get into Old Faithful. There's going to be a few different stop-offs. Just watch for the signs to say to get there. You're going to get off on one of these side roads down here, and then you'll get into the lovely parking lot, which is really quite challenging. So if you can see even from this photo, it's packed, like always packed. So just expect that it's going to be packed, and you're going to drive around quite a bit through here. Just loop around until something opens up. Just prepare, hey, it's going to be 20-30 minutes or so before something opens. Just keep driving around and go, oh, look at that lovely spot right there. And that's what you're going to be looking for. Now, it's going to be hot. Expect a lot of heat. It's going to be hot. Load up on water. I load up backpacks of water, and then you can kind of make your way. So it is very hot. So it's like you get out here, you can see people sitting out there, but they're getting baked. If it's July, you're getting baked. What you want to try to do is what we try to do is try to get over here. You try to find any little patch of shade, and a lot of times people will. And there's some reasonable shade areas in here that you can get, and there's some places back here if you don't want to be really close. Now you can wait in here and then try to get over there when it starts to erupt. Again, there's not a lot of benches or anything to sit down. You end up having to sit on just some logs and things over here. So not the best facilities except for up here, which doesn't make a lot of sense given how hot it gets. So there's the general store, and this is kind of where we went. There's some visitor centers too that you can go in that talk about the different paths down here. So once you make your way through here, you can definitely stop. This is where you can find some food to eat. There's at least some hot dogs again there. It is packed, busy. So you're not gonna have to take them on the road, but they also have the time for the Old Faithful. So take your stuff, head to Old Faithful, eat it there. But you can find some hot dogs and things, and random things you can pick up for lunch. There's some stuff in here that if you pop into there, there's some movies they can watch about Old Faithful, which are great. You can also get in there and see all the paths and things that you might want to walk and do some hikes, and that's what we did. Went for some hikes. In the afternoon, yes, it's gonna be warm, but there's some. If you get in here, you can start doing a hike loop. So let's go through that loop a little bit. Okay, if you head down this trail here, we'll go walking down through here. You can hit this geyser trail. Then if you cut into here, you can start to see some of these geysers. We'll pop the guy in here. So you'll get into this walking trail. There's a lot of different loops. They can show you some of the maps here. But you get in here, you can start walking the boardwalk, and you can start to see all the different geysers. And there's quite a nice loop here. Again, bring water, lots of water. It's going to be warm, and stay on those paths. If you notice, a lot of times the geysers are right here, and these kind of cut underneath. So this is very unstable under here. So you want to just stay right on the boardwalk and enjoy it that way, because this ground, whatever's in this ground, you don't know if it's going to collapse or underneath you or whatever, and also it's dangerous. Plus, that's what they want. They've got these nice paths. This is all boardwalk through there. It can be, some of it's kind of bumpy and things, but otherwise it's pretty good. You just wander through there. We wandered through that place, looked at all these different springs and things they have, the different geysers. And some of them go off, but some of them are just kind of small, and some of them are pools, and they're quite nice, though. We have the beauty pool and the chromatic pool. We kept walking through here. We walked up through the geyser, and when we got to about here, this is when we decided to do a turnaround. You get in here, there's nice benches, kind of you recheck where you're at, recharge, get some hydration going, and otherwise you'll be like this guy, just a little bit drained, a little fatigued, but it's all right. You can do it. So we back traveled on there, but we took a different path as we backtracked. Here, the path will take a split. Instead of coming back this way, we went back up through here so we can look at all these different geysers up here. There's quite a few by Old Faithful, so you can quite do this loop, see all these different geysers through here, and then you can come back up through this way, come through this Fire River hole, kind of see, wow, this is even busier than it wasn't quite that busy when when we were there, but can be quite busy as you can tell, depending on where you're at. This is the Fire Hole River, and if you just keep going along that trail, it'll take you right back to Old Faithful and right back to where you want to be. Yeah, so Yellowstone, that's a key area of Yellowstone. Yellowstone's way bigger, and there's a lot more you can do in it. A lot more hiking, you can get into fishing, there's a lot more to see, a lot more areas. You can get on boats, tours, you can camp there, there's just a ton. But in this trip, we're just taking a whirlwind tour, hitting the main key area, and this is probably the most iconic area, is the Old Faithful and the geysers. So that's what we kind of focused on. This is only halfway through the day, so now we got to get out of here. We're going to head on our trip into our next stop. And there's still a lot of sites on the way that we might want to check out. Let's see a few, and we'll head on out. Okay, so yeah, we start moving along, and we'll head back out. We're going to head out the same way we came. And then, it starts to get a little more dark. It's getting later in the day at this point, but that's okay. You can still could travel during before it gets too dark. You probably want to leave in the afternoon so you can have enough time to travel. You're going to get through here. We're going to head out, and we're heading out on 89 now. There's a lot of interesting things. So we're kind of heading back on the split. We're now heading up. And it gets to be quite a nice area through here. There's a lot of things to see. You can see the cliffs, and you can see all the forests. Very nice areas. This makes for a nice drive, but it is kind of windy through here, and not particularly high speeds. You can kind of see here a little bit some of that interesting area, but it is really nice. You're going to keep going up here, and you're going to get close to Mammoth Hot Springs, and this is where there could be a switch out here, because this is where the road took a dive. But there is a way through here. They have a bypass, and we'll get you up through here. So when you get to Mammoth, this is where we ran into some wildlife on the road. But you get into here, there's some old buildings, so this kind of gives you an idea. We ran into this deer here. Let me see if we can get closer to where we were at, where we ran into that. So there's a split here, pop in here. There is some things, yeah. Here we go. Terrence Grill. There was some stuff around here, and this is where we ran into the deer. You'll get into this area in here, through here, and there's definitely some wildlife, and you kind of just chased it through. And then once you get here, again, they're gonna split because of the road construction stuff that they had to do from the road being wiped out. It gets a little bit gnarly. You're gonna have to take this entrance here. Let's just say windy is not quite a strong enough adjective for this. This is pretty gnarly. This is a gnarly road. It wasn't really meant for the traffic or anything. So when you get on it, just expect it's going to be slow. You're going to be like 25 miles an hour with hairpin turns going down a mountain and up a mountain. It's quite the ride, but you can get through it. But for the passengers, this is pretty interesting. You can kind of see there's a steep grade, 15 miles an hour, and like I said, there's those hairpins. Let's just take one, so you can kind of see it. You're kind of right there by the cliffs, so you're right in the mountain. So this is a mountain rider, but you can kind of see it kind of winds you. You're going to start winding your way down. It's going to be a slow thing, Hope your brakes are good. It'll feel like it goes on forever, but eventually you're going to make it through, and then you'll pop down into another kind of tourist town, and this one's quite interesting. You just make it through. They have this nice scenic kind of river and bridge, and it's quite nice through here. Kind of makes you think, maybe that wouldn't be a bad place to stop for a day. But our journey, we continued. Now we're in Montana. We've now crossed that line, so we're now going to travel up through here. It's nice. You follow this river through here, and it's very scenic, route. There's a lot of things to see out there. Starts getting fairly quiet. There's not too much traffic by this point, and like I said, you're kind of right in a valley between the two mountains, trying to ride that through, and it's really quite nice. As you get up here, you'll eventually keep going, and you'll park here. We stayed right here up here in Livingston, because along the way there is some small towns, but a lot of them don't have hotels and things, accommodations. So we opted to go all the way to Livingston. And Livingston, we stayed here at the Fairfield Inn, the Marriott. Here we pulled into the Marriott. There is some other places. We wanted to try to stay at this Yellowstone River, but again, it's tricky to find a room, lodgings for a group of our size. Got in there and able to find some food to eat. There's some places you can eat along here. There's another Subway, but we didn't go for the Subway, I think, due to something already being there. Well, that made for a long day, and so by this point you're pretty wiped out from all the hiking and all the what we started to term hot hikes. That was what was captured. So that's where we rested. On day 3, we started off heading back out onto this I-90. You're going to head out eastward and continue on. It's pretty quiet area, as you can see. I'll show here. Kind of nice. And we're going to travel all the way to Buffalo today. But keep driving along that road. A lot of small towns. Make sure you fueled up before you leave. But there is a few towns. There's big timber that you could stop by. We kept going. This first leg being a couple hours, and we went past Billings. Now Billings is a quite a large city, and we were going to stop there through just for lunch because this is about lunchtime. However, we decided to press. We wanted to kind of press on to the next stop. Although I still think there's some good things in Billings to check out, so you may want to, take a little chance and see what you can see. So we moved on here, and then it hits here. You want to continue on the I-90. You want to go on the 94. That would take you away from where we want to go. We want to drop back into Wyoming. Then the next stop is Harding. Harding does have some food and things that you can stop at, and that's what we did. We popped off the freeway here, went right down into this Taco John's and Dairy Queen. Now our group is picky, and you can see there's 3 restaurants here, so that may help if you have a picky group. Then you can. Some of us went to Taco John's, some went to Dairy Queen. Taco John's was a bit of a struggle. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, at least you could get something there. We had some people over here. I just walked them over, walked across, and walk through this area. But you could also get the pizza if you were there, so not a bad pit stop. And pick up fuel if you need to. I think there's a fuel stop around here, just across the way, which is what we did. Just popped over to that, topped up the tanks, topped up our tanks, then headed out. Journey's getting pretty long here. People's nerves can get a little bit fried. They were a little fried by the time we got there. There is an important stop here along the way, so we want to keep going. Not just that one, but if you go right past here behind the Crow Agency, and you're going to kind of come down in here. What we want to stop at, we want to take this stop here. So you want to stop at the little Bighorn battlefield. That's going to be important on this trip because it has to do with Custard and Custard's last stand. It's also going to have to do with Crazy Horse. You have to pay to get in. They do some of the 5th grade passes may let you pass to go through. Otherwise, it's like not too much. It's just a car. You just do that checkpoint here, pay to get in there. And this is kind of a combination between a museum and a cemetery. This is where the battle took place. This is where Custer's last stand was, and this is where, right here, is where they found a bunch of the bodies. They found the horses. They found all the stuff. This is kind of where they were. They lost the horses here. The visitor center is great. It has there's some movies, some like historic museum stuff, items, artifacts, and things that you can kind of look at. You can go through the cemetery. They used to let people, you can request to be buried there, but that they don't do that anymore. Soldiers is what it was. So they have this cemetery here, and they have all the soldiers and things. They weren't all people from that battle. These are soldiers later. There's a lot of great things to see here. There's a couple different monuments to look at. One monument, let's see if we can we've got some good shots here, I'm sure. So at the top here, this is where they think that, they have this place kind of buried where some of the people buried, and they show that. And they show the memorial. This is where, remains of 200 soldiers are buried, so they have this memorial here for them all. And where the tombstones are is where they kind of found them. So this is kind of where they last laid. Coming here, there's also the Native American Memorial as well. So down this way, you want to keep walking down through here because you want to get into here. This is really pretty cool. They have all the leaders and how they different groups. They kind of talk a lot about how they their point of view and how they saw things. Yeah, really good memorial. You can definitely stop by that and check it all out. There's all the different things here. So it's a good pit stop. it's good to check everything here, because this all kind of plays an important part in going to the Mount Rushmore piece. So this all plays into it, and it also plays into all the people that lived in this area, especially historically. Even in one of our next stops, we'll also talk about that too. So this one's an important site. All right, you want to continue down that highway, and it's not terrible. I do remember it being mostly fields and plains and hills like the rest of the area, so mostly you could kind of get an idea. Still pretty in its own way. Eventually you're going to make your way down to where you're back into Wyoming, and then as you travel down through there, the Sheridan's a place where a lot of people stay. We opted to kind of press on a little bit further than Sheridan. But Sheridan has quite a few hotels and quite a few extra sites you can see. But we pressed on and go a little bit further, and probably another, I think it's only about 30 minutes down, but it gives us a little bit more edge on the next day. We stayed in Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is kind of a smaller town. We stayed here in the Hampton. Quite a nice place. I remember it being very nice. Popped in there. We were very tired. That little Bighorn mountain, the Bighorn battlefield was a little bit hot. Now, very hot. So take a lot of water during that one, and make sure that you're ready for the hot hike, because that one was definitely over 100 degrees, and it was hot. So we were pretty wiped out. By the time we got here, it was evening time, and we were pretty wiped out, and everybody didn't want to move. So I had to go out and try to figure out where to eat, because what happens is if you go a little bit later, and this is being a smaller town, a lot of those places shut down. So what I ended up doing to try to get through that was I popped over, got into the vehicle, just drove myself. I drove down, and I went downtown to try to find something. And I went down here. They had a Domino's pizza, so I picked up some food there. But realizing that they didn't have, we didn't have any utensils or plates to make that work, so popped over to this Family Dollar and was able to get some plates and utensils. So this is a pretty good combination here. For me, it was nice. I came out. It was just barely raining during that time. I saw this nice rainbow. It was a very nice rainbow over the town. So on day 4 here, we popped out, fueled up here. We just popped into this Exxon so that they have fuel along the way. And then get back on that I-90 here, or the Highway 90, I think. I can't tell which one if it's interstate, but I think it's the highway. So get back on the Highway 90, and then we traveled this way, traveled eastward. So this is kind of what you see. However, again, kind of interesting. Because there isn't a lot of trees and things, you can kind of see the factories and the other things that are going on in the area. So that's kind of interesting to look at. As you get past that kind of desert area, we want to get to a place up here like Moorcraft, and we're going to want to go to this take this 14. So you want to get off onto this US 14. So make sure to get that split, because what we want to go up to is we want to keep following the split up here. It's kind of a windy, kind of starts to get kind of nice because we're now kind of heading into a foresty area in a sense. We're heading up towards the famous Devil's Tower. And if you keep going up here, there's one other split here at this 24. So you want to head up through that. You can see how it's starting to, It's changing now. Granted, this could be a different time of year. This is May, so it's going to be a little greener. But you want to get in this 24, and you want to head up there. You'll get onto this split. I'll show you that split here. You want to get on this split here and then head up towards Devil Tower. Now you're going to see it in view. For a while there, you're not going to see it, which is kind of strange. But yeah, out of, everything is flat around it. Then you have Devil's Tower that just kind of sticks right up. It's kind of like a lava flow that kind of pushed it up. So it looks kind of very interesting. It's got a very interesting structure. You definitely want to make a pit over here to Devil's Tower. The tradition is a big bear came by and clawed it up. And that's kind of the tradition story. But it's kind of this interesting feature. We'll go get a little closer. That a lot of people, there's a lot of climbers that go and climb it. I'm not that much of a climber, so that would be a bit of a challenge. Now, the one thing to note, you get up here and you're going to travel along this road. Well, it gets to about here, and you're going to get around here. Later in the day, you're going to be prepared to be here probably a good hour and a half with cars. You're just going to get backed up along here. Now, it's very pretty, but just get prepared for this long wait to get into the park. It definitely gets very, very busy. So we just kind of pedal along here. I showed them Close Encounters of the Third Kind to get the kids, ready. They'd watch it, and then they would kind of go, wait a minute, is that the same place? And it is the same place. So we get them up here. You'll eventually, if you make your way up through the tower, you'll get to here, and then there's some parking lots here you can get into. There's one just down here. It's all these lots down in here. So if you can find a spot, because they kind of regulate the traffic, you should hopefully find something. We found something over in this area. Then what you can do, there's some pits right here. Let's get you in there. There's some pit stops in here, so you can take your pit stops. Get some sunscreen on, because it's going to be hot. Very hot. And you can see the climbers. They've got some gear. We got some rope going. But you can get in here. You don't have to be a climber to enjoy the area. You can actually, there's plenty of things. And you can come in here and just head in. There's a visitor center. There's some nice that explains a lot about the area and things. You can get, the kids like to get the ranger kit stuff, which is somewhere around, I think around here. You get that ranger kit stuff, and we didn't get into it too much, but almost every area you can collect ranger stamps and ranger badges or something, and you can collect that information. But you have to do certain things. They did in this area. They decided that was what they wanted to do, so that's what we did. And you want to stop in here, just get that sense. Then after that, what you want to do is you're going to want to do another hot hike. You get up this path up in here, and they'll have a hike that goes all the way around the mountain, and it's quite a nice hike. Let's see if we can get some other views of that. There's some trails here, and there'll be a trail that kind of goes all the way around. As you can see, this trail all the way around the mountain and the tower there. So that's a really nice trail, because you get the close-up view of the tower and everything on it. You can see where they put the ladder initially to climb it back in the first climb. They had all this. They built these ladders and to climb up to the top here. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Here's a lot of view. The view's really great because you're up high, as you can see up here, so you can see the valley down below. You'll be right there, right by the mountain, right by the monument, and yeah, really great. Yeah, I think our group really enjoyed that. Enjoyed walking around there. Stay on the trails. I went a little off trail we went to touch the mountain. You don't need to. You get close enough to touch the mountain right around in here anyway if you needed to feel it. But if you go in here, I think we went a little off and went out here for some reason. That led to some bad knee situations. Head off there. Head back to where where you can loop up and around, but I think it's a lot longer to loop up and around, back up here. So we actually went back down, and we went to hit this Sundance for kind of a late lunch dinner type deal. Now Sundance, there's not much in Sundance. However, what we went to is try to find this diner here, and I think a lot of these places are closed. So again, they close really early. So I don't think we weren't able to go to Louis'. However, there was another place right here. It didn't have a sign on it. I do think their burgers were very good. So we stopped at this place right here. Then what you can do is head back out onto the I-90. What I wanted to do here is there's a split around Deadwood. So so instead of hitting this 14, you probably want to hit this 85. So we kind of go through here, and we go through 90, keep on 90 till you get to this 85, then you pop in to the 85, and we're going to hit to Deadwood. And Deadwood's a famous town. There's a lot to see in Deadwood. This is where you can see this scenery is very nice. And it's got both a tourist town, and it's also got kind of the old town, where you can kind of see this is where they have, they had shoot-offs, and it was an old west town, and they had a lot of history with kind of the sheriffs and the other things, the marshals, basically, and outlaws and things here. So that's what Deadwood's about. And there's a lot of stuff you can see in Deadwood. There's a lot of museums and things. We didn't get a stop through because we were kind of there, but there's quite a few things. We did get some local flavor because we missed our turn. You got to get this turn right in here that's kind of tricky. Seems like it kind of comes out of the woodworks. It's not particularly easy to find. You want to get this turn off here. And if you miss that turn off, then you're kind of floating, and we had to float around a little bit. But if you can get onto that, you can kind of start snaking your way down through here, and which is where you want to go. This is quite a ways as well. You can kind of see, there's some nice areas in here. Do you remember this? Seeing the lake, you can kind of see the lake through here a little bit. Yeah, the scenic tour was not so fun, but through Deadwood. However, it was good to see the local flavors of the towns. But yeah, afterwards, just kind of, you want to get on that road. It's going to be kind of like how, it's only kind of the two-way traffic. There's not a lot of places to move to pass people or anything. So you just kind of have to walk in, settle down, enjoy the scenery. If it's not too dark, it was starting to get a little dark when we were traveling through. It was getting kind of evening time, but there's still a lot to see, a lot of things. This is going to take you through the area, through the Black Hills, and it's going to be kind of nice. And then for us, you're gonna go right by Crazy Horse. And we'll talk more about that on the next day, because we didn't really, get to really see too much if it's evening time. But you can kind of get a little bit of a sense of it as you're driving through. It kind of gets obscured. Is that the right word? Yeah, it's kind of blocked out by the trees a little bit, and we'll get some better views of Crazy Horse as we travel. But then you'll get to these lights, and so you're on the right path, because we're going to try to stay in Custard. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of places to see in here. This is why we just traveled straight into it, because then we can spend the next day trying to explore this area and get a feel for it. So that's where we're heading for right now. We'll head to where we stayed. We just stayed over here. There's a couple different, there's quite a few hotels and things, and we stayed here at the Comfort Inn. I've stayed here at the Best Western Buffalo before, and I've even stayed in the Bedrock Flintstone place. Back in the day, we stayed in there, and I believe it's still around. They still have quite a few things here. but it looks a little toast, but it may be still around, and if so, that's an interesting place to stay if you got a camper. It's more of a camper place. But yeah, I've been here and I've been to the captain's tables, but for this venture, we went here to the Comfort Inn Suites. They do have that miniature golf course. We were gonna hit that, but I don't know if that actually panned out. But we got in there kind of late at night, so we were ready to call it a day. So the next day, if you're following me, that should be day 5. You can come up here and go back up. So now we were going all the way to Mount Rushmore at this point. So you're going to head back up to the 16, and you're going to go past Crazy Horse. Now we'll come back to that. But you'll come up over here to where there's this 244, so it's not too far away. It's about 10, 15, 20 minutes up the road. And then you want to hit this. You want to head up this way this time. Head it back east. And when you get up through there, this 244. So that 244 will take you, and if you keep following that, it'll take you to Mount Rushmore. Eventually, you'll end up here. Now you'll pay to get in. Now if you have those passes, that can really help you. You just kind of pay to get in here, get in the autos. We have a topper, so we had to do something, make sure we're in the large area. So we actually had to park out here, but there's an underground parking garage. You pay for the parking ahead of time so you can just get out. But then once you get there, you get onto these paths, and that'll work your way up to the monument. You can just kind of follow these things up. And we just followed that, went up through here, and you get into the information center, and there is quite a bit to do here. You get into this plaza. They've got the facilities, the information center. There's a lot of great things to look at here. They have tour guides, and there's hikes, so you might want to look at those. They have the museums. So what we did is we went through here. You go through this kind of the Hall of the Flags. I think they had a name of it here. Let's see if we can pull that. Yeah, Presidential Trail, Amphitheater. They have all that. This is where they show how they carved it, where they went. So this has all those information there. The museum underneath the monument here is actually, you'll head down these stairs, and it's kind of below here. In fact, you're kind of up above it. So there's the amphitheater where they can have some shows. So you didn't catch any of those, but they do have that. And then if you go down here, you can get down to the museum area, which is the museum is really good. It has all sorts of information. They have the films that they show. So that's kind of down below here. Let's see if they have somebody down there. There's somebody that's going to get us down there. Well, I didn't know they had a little rally there or something. I don't know. But, yeah. So in here's all the museum, all the stuff. There's some trails down here. And you can get down to these trails, and you can hit the Presidential Trail, and you can also go to the sculpture studio, which shows some of the sculpture itself and how the model they use to kind of measure stuff and kind of get it out there. They also have this trail they can go up. You can go up along close to the mountain. It's quite a few stairs. They say there's, I can't remember how many stairs. We were trying to count them all, but there's definitely like 1,000 stairs. So get used to climbing stairs. If you got bad knees, this is probably not the trail for you. It's doable. I'm not an in shape person, so you can make it. Yeah, so definitely it's a nice trail. It takes you up, and they've got all the stairs and everything. But it is a lot of stairs. Definitely doable. Hot hike. Bring water. You're going to need it. But yeah, after you kind of do all that, get up there, take that Presidential Trail, check out the monument from down below. You can't really see the Hall of Records. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff in the museum to kind of see that. But this is what the stairs kind of looks like half the time. The paths are all nicely done, but it is a lot of stairs. But you can do it. We stayed pretty much all day, so we went into these cafes. So they do have ice cream. They have regular food you can get. Prices aren't too bad. I mean, expect another 100 for ice cream, another 100 to feed people. So it's gonna cost a bit, but you can get food there and make that work. So that's good. And, what some of the things that we did is we also caught a couple different tour groups. One tour group talks about the geology of the area. It was quite nice. It talked a lot about how the mountains were formed, what's the kind of the history behind it, and also the legends behind the area. Then there was another group that talks a lot about another tour that kind of really talks a lot about the carving of the mountain and the mountain itself, and they do that. They did that one around this area. We had one, wasn't quite at the amphitheater, but it was around there, that kind of explained stuff around here, but explained a lot about the mountain itself. All right. Well, when you're ready to leave, we left a little bit here in the afternoon. We wanted to head back out. Now, there's two ways you can go. You can go back out to get to Custer, go back out and go through here. Well, going so take one path will take you one gnarly ride, like very pretty, and there's a lot of like these tunnels, but they're really tight, and the hairpin turns are something else, like really tight. Let's see, we'll take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, I avoided this on purpose because I went down this road and it wasn't very tricky. And I didn't really want to do it with a minivan and a topper and everything else. So I kind of wanted to avoid that and spend the time somewhere else. So, but it is a pretty drive. Some people really like it. So let's take a quick look and see what we can see. Yeah, so here we go. We have so you can kind of see the turns on this are incredible. I don't think the Google car knows what it's getting into, because this is something else. Oh, yeah, you can see it kind of going up around. It's like a pin turn you up there. It's very gnarly. It gets you winding up there. Then there's some tunnels. Take you through one of those. So you can see these tunnels are almost like a one car, and you feel like your mirrors are going to about hit it. So it's not fun to necessarily be the driver on. I'm sure it's fun to kind of look at. Some of these tunnels, there's several tunnels up through here. Very scenic drive, but yeah, just get prepared. Prepare. There is some gnarliness. I believe there's another one here. We get you through. You can see they're tight. They're not the full length of the road. You gotta nail it. You gotta get right in there. But we went back on the 244 here and headed back into Crazy Horse. You do pay to get in here. Once you can get in, there you have this great museum that has all sorts of artifacts and everything. They have a really good video about the artist that's worked on Crazy Horse. Now his family's been working on Crazy Horse, and his grandsons and things. It's been a long carving. So Crazy Horse, for those that don't know, Crazy Horse is kind of just a memorial. They were going to make a memorial to Crazy Horse, this carving this mountain. It's quite the carving. It's much bigger than Mount Rushmore, and it's like this full mountain. And they've been working on it since the early 1900s. Just went up there with a chisel and a thing of dynamite and decided, I'm going to carve this mountain. So, quite the guy that did it. It was actually quite inspirational. I found a lot of stuff that made a lot of sense. he just felt like it's important to do. He knew it was going to take a long time, but he thought it was important. And it's this whole area that he wanted to honor the native people that lived in the land and make sure that they had their heroes kind of shown in the mountains as well. And they wanted to show all the area here. Part of it's too, they were making university and other things that they can do for the people in the area. Kind of split. The museum first kind of shows the Indian Museum stuff, North America. They show all that area in there, and then they also have this part is all the artist's studio, then kind of his original kind of house. You can kind of go through that. They have his studio stuff. This is where he made sculptures, and he did several other sculptures beyond the just Crazy Horse. He did quite a few other things, and this shows all that. This is an active site where they're actively working. You get into this plaza area, which is quite nice. They've built, and they have a restaurant through here. You can see Crazy Horse, what the mountain is, where it is today, and where they wanted to go to. So you can see it is something else. That is quite the work. They initially the artist wanted to work on the horse, but I think his wife said, "Nah, work on the face first. We need to start working that through." Now they're kind of working on the arms. They've got some of the hands out on it now. This is from 2016 here to this picture, so they've gotten a lot further now. Especially, I think that the tooling's gotten better, and they're kind of making quite a bit of progress. They've got the finger here. They've got the hand. The horse is a little more defined on it. They haven't done this piece or this piece yet, but they've gotten quite a bit of stuff on here. Inside the museum here, they show all the different it's good, we got this in the picture. So they show all the different stages throughout the years, getting the face where it is. And I've been here went to Crazy Horse as a kid, and it's been several years, so I probably came in this time frame initially, and then seen it a few times through the years, watching it get bigger. And you can kind of see today it's getting further along all the time. It is quite the museum. A lot of things you can look at. They show the whole area and what they were trying to do with it all. You can take a rock home. They always send a rock with you, so you pick those up for free. And you don't have to pay for that souvenir. Take a rock with you. Yeah, so definitely Crazy Horse. I always enjoy seeing somebody with a big ambition, trying to make it happen. I've been there a few times with some projects that going to take years to complete, but it's good. It shows the importance of just sticking with it and making it all happen. So at this point, we just headed back. Day was pretty much done. It was wiped out, so we just went right back to our hotel, and we stayed in the same hotels we did before. So we'll pick up there and join back in and see what day 6 brings. On our way back, so now we're heading back out. We've got a long journey. This is going to be some long travel days, but there's still some sights to see. So you're going to head out there on Mount Rushmore Road. Head out onto the 16. Keep going on there. There is several things to see in this area. So you could easily spend a good week seeing all the little things that are in this area. We didn't have that time, but we hit the key points that I wanted to see out of it. But there is definitely a lot of different things. We opted to take this route to the 16th going back. We've thought about going down. If you can go down through Hot Springs, you can then hit the Woolly Mammoth Museum. There's some more caves you can see, wind caves and things. We did stop through here. In order to actually take a tour through the Jewel Cave, you need to do that just like the day before or something. I think you can't do it too ahead of time, but you have to get reservations, and you have to get it right away. We didn't opt for the reservations. We just kind of went in and checked out what we could see. They don't show you this. This is going on the tour itself, going down. And what you can do is you can get in the parking lot and you can go to the visitor center and you can check it all out. That's all free. You can hike around it, but a lot of it then becomes taking the tours and getting on there. And the tours do cost money, and like I said, the big thing is you have to have the reservations and things. And you can check more of that information on here and on the site. Yeah, once you do that, head back on 16 and head on out of the state. Again, pretty nice drive. Starts to turn into desert, as you can kind of see. Now we're starting to get out of the forest. What we were looking to do, and I've got to zoom clear out, so we were looking to make on this trip. We hit it up to Newcastle, but we got to get our way all the way down to Rawlins. Yeah, there's just not much there. There's a lot of desert, a lot of back road. If you get stuck behind somebody, just enjoy the ride, because it could be a long time before you can pass somebody. They don't have much passing lanes, so there's a lot of big trucks through here, and we're going to see if I can find those sites. I'll show you some interesting things that you find out here in the desert, so let's keep an eye out for them. We went on 16. We got onto the 16 here, and we went off on this 450. So we were taking some serious back roads. Rather than traveling down, I think we went across. So right through these back roads of nothingness, so you could say. You can see. We took this weird road. I don't know if it was the GPS or just how we ended up riding. Now we're going to start to kind of go through the oil and gas and coal area. So we're on these back roads, following this 450. And yeah, there's most part it's pretty just desert, like you're just cutting right across it. And then you hit this area, and it's kind of interesting. As you get through here, you start seeing a lot of equipment and machinery. And this is part of a large coal factory. So now you're starting to see a lot of coal going on, and you can kind of see that here. So you kind of drive through here. There's a lot of big trucks, so you might get stuck behind them. But we took quite the back road here and went past this area. And then you get to this junction. And I think we took the 59. You want to take it going south, and yeah, you got to make sure, again, there's no pit stops, and you can kind of see it's just desert. So you got to commit to, if you're going to commit to it, you got to commit to it, and you're going to have to just ride this out. So we went through, and you go through through this 59. There's almost nothing. I think out here though, somewhere along here, there was somebody's trying to sell some lemonade and some cookies. No joke, just out here in the middle of the desert. And you had to go about a mile off the road to get to that place. But cookies and lemonade, kids will try to make a lemonade stand wherever, even if it's the middle of the desert and there's nobody. But who knows? Who knows what was going through their mind? But lemonade, lemonade and cookies. I guess if you're thirsty or hungry from your long trip, who knows? Kid might be doing a lemonade stand in the desert. You'll still see the coal plant. I mean, it's still going. It's a very large area. All this is all the coal, all the coal plant stuff, all digging through here, and you kind of see that. But yeah, you keep going. Get down here, you'll end up going right by Douglas. So this is the next town that's going to have something. So if you need to do pit stop or anything, this is the place to do it. I think we got off and picked up at least some fuel here. I think we may have decided to keep pressing for dinner things, but it is getting kind of later. But we can you can at least pick up some fuel and things and then head back on the road. Get on the 25. Now you're on an actual main road. And you can keep going on that. This is where at least it picks up. The speed picks up. There's more road. There's, you can pass people and do things. The I-25 at least is not too bad to travel on. And it's nice to get off those back roads, even though the back roads were interesting. Stopped through in Casper, it's getting kind of evening time, and time to get some dinner and kind of top everything up. So we went through here and stopped by a little place again, Taco John's. Just a little place right by the switch here. We stopped in there, fueled up. Good place. There's a gas station there if you need it. And then I believe we took this to 285 in Casper. So we kind of got off there. And you get through here, and then you're going to meet back up on this road. Not the Starbucks, but you meet back up on the road and get onto this 2200 here. And you'll get on that road, and that's going to keep going on that, and that'll take you down through here. Now I don't remember if we split here or went off the off-roads or went here. That I'm not 100% sure. I believe we kept on this same road, this 487. Would make the most sense. So you want to get on that 487. If not, you're going to be on some back road. Very long travel day, but you can get down here. You can switch the Medicine Bowl, make your way through, get your way to Rawlins, and that's where we stayed. We stayed up here like in Hampton, I believe. We went over here. Pretty nice hotel, not bad, not a bad spot. The nice thing about this is when we came in, though, well, I guess the bad thing about this is the fact that when we came in, it was blowing like crazy. Yeah, we stayed in the car, but it was just blowing and going crazy, and we just had to stay there. We're kind of like hoping that we can get out in the wind. The wind was so bad. So we got the checked in, but then we couldn't really move, so we just kind of waited out. Now, eventually the windstorm kind of died down, and we went and got in here, and then we're like, okay, well, let's just get in our room and stuff, get our stuff. But, it's dinner time, people wanted something. I'm like, well, we got the Taco Bell, and we're just like, we just had tacos. We could walk down to McDonald's. But that was kind of far too, so I don't want to do that. So then we opted for gas station food. Yeah, it wasn't particularly great. They do have some stuff. We opted for some pizza and some other random things there to see what we could get. But yeah, we took that back. It was interesting to say the least, I guess. But we got fed, so. That was good, but it's nice at least that this had all the stuff that you need. We got that, got fueled. We were wiped out definitely from that long travel, but we were in good shape and we recharged. Now on day 7, we picked up out of here. We have a very long journey. And we've got to travel out, so we hit this. We want to get back onto this I-80, get fueled up, get on the I-80, and head on out. Most of this is pretty deserty, but it's fast traveling because the roads are good. And you're gonna travel. We traveled and traveled and traveled through here, but eventually you get to this the Little America spot. Which you can fuel up there, but there is a lot of desert between here and where we're heading. So what we wanted to do is get off here. There was some construction. It was a bit tricky to get onto, but you can get onto this US 30, and that's going to take us to some back roads. Never been on those back roads before, but not bad. It's good to see this side of the area. Yeah, so you get on these back roads. It kind of follows a river here. You can kind of see that, but you don't really see it much from the car. You just see desert. But once you get through the desert area, okay, so when you get down here to the 30, you want to take this split and go on Highway 89. You'll go through here, and you'll cross into back into Utah here. Nope, there's the sign, so you know you're on the right track if you see that. Start seeing someone skiing. You'll get through here, and then you get through, and it gets through this canyon area. Like I said, it's kind of interesting, kind of transition from the desert. You'll go into these canyons. So you'll come out, and then you'll eventually arrive out here outside of Lake Town. You'll know you made it through the canyon. If you did that, you made it through there, and then you're now into Bear Lake Land area. And been to that Rendezvous Beach, so this is a really great area for Bear Lake. You can there's some nice beaches up here if you wanted to stop. For us, it was getting to about later afternoon, so we were ready to get to dinner. But you're going to travel along that 30, and you'll pass a bunch of these small towns, be right by the lake. Here you can see the Bear Lake. Very nice. You can stop if you want. But it's very nice through there. Very pretty by the lake. And you make your way to Garden City. Now there's a couple famous places to stop here. There's you got LeBeau's and you got Zips, and there's a big rivalry between the two. Generally we take the LeBeau's route, but definitely stop by through Zips, and you're gonna see why here in a minute. So you get in here. LeBeau's has two different spots you can go to, and we oftentimes take the second stop here, but there's both those stops. This looks pretty old. In 2000, they've definitely remodeled this, and so this is all remodeled where there's other places to sit and order and eat, and it's mostly covered over here, so this has been all redone. This is where people park. This is all parking lot too. This has all been redone through here. However, you're gonna want to take this back road at this point, and they've paved this and remodeled this too. But there's the Zips. The secret is the Zips has the bathrooms. There's like one bathroom here for like tons and tons of people. There's tons of people through here. This is always packed, and especially in the summertime, this is gonna be packed all the way. You'll be lucky if you find parking along here, because this is all turned into parking lot, and it's busy all the way through. But if once you're done, stop with your pit stop, come through here, just drive down through here, really easy, and bingo, you're right where you want to be. You can just drive up that road and you're already on your way up through Logan Canyon. So yeah, this is Logan Canyon. It's a steep drive up to the canyon, getting up here, but it's also a very pretty canyon. You can get on there. It's a bit windy. It's definitely windy. Many times I went on it. I did get sick, but I haven't had too much trouble if I drive it. So if I drive it, I'm okay. But get on there, get in that windiness. It'll take you up. Just keep following that. Very pretty through here. There's a lot of forests and mountains you're kind of traveling through. There's various hikes on Highway 89, so you can definitely use those. Go up on the hikes if you want. It's getting a little late on our trip to want to do that, but you can kind of see that. You can see the area here. It's very nice. Travel through this, and this will take you all the way back, and you'll be ready to roll on your journey all the way back, and there you have it.
I hope you enjoyed this little adventure, and hopefully you saw some stuff that you'd like to do and maybe see, or if you want to attempt something similar, and there's some ideas. You may want to take a slower pace. You might want to do a little longer of a trip. All that can work. You can see there's plenty of things to look at and see and do. Well, thanks for joining me on this adventure, and I hope to see you possibly on another one. Although I don't travel that much, but when we do, it's always an adventure. See ya.